Jai Bharat, Jai Shri Ram, Har Har Mahadev. To audience of two trailers, Namaste, Namaskar, and Swagatam. For today's session, all through the periods of our Bharatiya history and post-independence also, there has been continuous efforts by forces foreign and local too, who want to make us believe on the distortions of our Indian history and a narrative set and pushing them as true. Pseudo secularism or the Western secularism was made part of our constitution, which resulted in many historical distortions, attempts in great depth to whitewash even the most heinous atrocities against the ethnic populace of this land, the Bharatiya Sanatanis, by foreign invaders, multiple falsehood layers in form of fables, laws, histories, written over and over again to praise and eulogize those who should have been forgotten as tyrants. So this gave way to a society now where even mere mentioning of the wrongdoings of these characters might land you in jail or considered as constitutional right, destroying of societal unity. This has ended up in majority living under threat of losing their Indic culture. To oppose all these malicious distortion with our history, there were many, and there are many voices who are making efforts to bring the reality, to expose these lies via archaeological evidences, study of ancient literatures, compilation of the Salapuranas, using latest scientific technologies to disprove these lies. One such amazing personality who have been putting considerable effort, time, and energy on unraveling our true history, presenting to us the greatness of our ancestors, our ethnic people of the land, is our esteemed guest of today, Dr. Jayasree Saranathan. She's a research scholar, a historian, an author who graduated in history, economics, did her post graduation in diploma in business administration and astrology, and which she has done a PhD also in. She has completed her certification course also in epigraphy, specializes in linking and translating the missing links in our ancient scriptures, the literatures, and epics. She is interested in write-ups in Indology and astrometeorology. So far, she has authored 7 books in topics of Indology, Hindu epics, prehistory, Tamil Sangam literature, and astrometeorology. There are 2 more books on the pipeline, which is soon to be published in the early August. So, Team Two Trailers takes immense pride in welcoming Dr. Jayasree Saranathan to this session, which we definitely hope will be an eye opener for all. Before we proceed on, I would like to invite our team, the rest of the team of Twin Trailers, Dr. Ujjwal Narain ji, or Advocate Sonia Raina ji. Jai Bharat, Jai Shri Ram, Har Har Mahadev to Sonia Raina ji and Ujjwal ji.
Thank you, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Jai Shri Ram to everyone and both of you. And as you rightly said, it's a pleasure to have her. History is something we all should learn from the right people. Otherwise, as Ujjwal ji says कि टूटी हुई हिस्ट्री पढ़ा देते हैं तो आज कुछ रियल हिस्ट्री पढ़ते हैं. Thank you, Arun ji and Ujjwal ji.
Okay, yeah, Ujjwal ji, आप म्यूट पे हो.
सभी को प्रणाम और आज के सेशंस के लिए स्वागतम, खुशामदीद. जैसा कि अरुण जी ने बताया, सोनिया जी ने भी बताया, हम आज एक बहुत ही अच्छे टॉपिक के ऊपर जानकारी हासिल करने वाले हैं। तो मेरा हमारे दोस्तों से निवेदन है कि सब कुछ छोड़ के, ध्यान लगा के इस सेशन को जरूर आप इम्बाइब करें, सुने, और ये आपके लिए काफी फायदेमंद रहेगा। काफी ज्ञान आपकी प्राप्ति होगी आपको। तो चलिए हम सब इस सेशन की ओर चलते हैं और डॉक्टर जयश्री मैम को सुनते हैं। थैंक यू। जय हिंद, जय भारत।
Swagatam, Jayasree Madam. Thanks for joining us in our session. It's a real pleasure to host you. And yes, definitely we have a lot of questions coming in. So before we start with the session, right, there are few things which we have probably seen in your when you read the book, uh, which I probably as a common man we wanted to find out from you, since you are a historian, you take interest in archaeology also. So you mentioned something about epigraphy and hagiographies and other techniques, right? How they find out, they give us the truth of our history. So can you please just explain us what actually that means so that we can get our basics right?
See, epigraphy, first of all, it tells us the time period of the king. Epigraphy tells us which king was the ruling one at the time of the event. Do you know one thing? We are not able to get the time period of Adishankara properly. You must be aware. People have been
Yeah.
giving two different dates. One 2000 years ago, another 1000 years ago. And even I was approached by people to solve it. The problem in that is there is no inscriptional evidence, or there is no inscription of the king of Adishankara's time. So inscriptions only tell us exactly when a thing has happened, because it gives the date features, that is the month or the year, Salivahana Shaka or whatever that year number, everything will be there. So in since because such ones are there, we are able to get the historical dates of many kings. And in the topic we were going to discuss on Ramanuja's life, there also Ramanuja's life could be without any doubt established because of the cross references we are getting from the inscriptions of the kings who have lived at that time, right? Whereas in Adi Shankara's case, as far as I have searched until now, even I have been given a lot of inputs by the people concerned who want me to find out the date. None of them contain the name of a king. The king, he has met somebody, that is, he has met some king, or he has gone to that place where this king was seated there. Nothing of that kind is available. That is the reason. That is why epigraphy is very important, because they are the records of the kings of those times. And another one is archaeology. In archaeological things, it's not only about the things that have been dug out. People normally think, say for instance, Dwaraka or Hastinapur, people expect something underneath the ground in that region. It's not only about that, but about so many other things like the coins or the things used by those people in that particular period. So that they
Mm-hmm.
are the primary evidences, we can say. When you are talking about an historical incident or an event or a person, the people who have lived at that time, they have used those items. So that is becoming a kind of primary evidence. Primary evidence is about the contemporariness of the thing that you are taking into consideration. So the primary evidence, when you talk about primary evidence, epigraphy comes into picture and archaeological things come into picture. And in the case of epigraphy, it is a Lekhya Pramana, we call it, a written document. Even today, in the court of law, a written document carries the highest value. So, in the same
Right.
way, the that is the inscriptions or the or the recorded Lekhya Pramana, we can say, of the olden times. So, they are the primary evidence. So, we look for it. And another example I give you, right at the moment I'm talking to you, my book is just has gone for print. The next book, it is on the Chola history. More than 100 inscriptions I have analyzed, and more than 25 inscriptions I have quoted in that book. So that is showing us when an event has happened. And even in that case, in that case, we are taking into account certain epigraphs where more information on the day, for example, a grahana, an eclipse, or the date of the sun's position, if that is given, that will be taken primacy, because an eclipse cannot happen on some day. There should be certain distance between so the sun and the moon and the nodes on that day. So like this, lot of things are there. In my upcoming book, I have devoted a complete sub chapter on how to find out time using epigraphy. The lot of issues that are there in epigraphy and how to find out time. Yes.
Thank you for that, ma'am. We really needed that because a lot of us do not know how the historians and archaeologists come up with this. When they come up with these findings, we are lost. We just so thanks for explaining it in a very simple manner. It is really helpful. And furthermore, Ujjwalji or Suniji, do you have anything, or we can move on to the next topic?
I had one question, ma'am.
Yes.
When you were talking about Adi Shankara,
Yes.
see, as per whatever our knowledge and whatever reading up we have done, I have done, you know, he seemed to have traveled length and breadth of the country. He seems to have even traveled right up to Kedarnath and, done a lot of meditation there also. So, with so much of travel history of Adi Shankara through the length and breadth of the country and his Shastrartha, which Mandan Mishra and all. So, I mean, it's very, very funny, like you must have some evidence somewhere to actually fix on the date.
But
And
there
in
is
total evidence, at least.
Bandana Mishra, you take. Who was the contemporary king? Because see, people like us, Mandana Mishra or anybody, they don't issue inscriptions. Normally, inscriptions are documents, mostly for economic purposes. You buy or you sell something, you give us donation. Only in that case that will be there. So inscriptions cannot have, that is, they don't have inscriptions for everything. It's like a record, your government record. So some government activity should be there, some economic activity should be there. That king who has done that, he should be a contemporary of Mandana Mishra or Adi Shankara. So in that way, one king has been identified, but we don't have proper inscriptions. I came across one in an old book, that doesn't have any date features. It should have a date feature, like this month or this year or something, or that is his regnal year should be there. Normally in South India, the kings used to mention there in the 16th year of the king it happened. Then we identify the first year of the king from other sources, and then the 16th year will be coming up to that. Then we will be able to say. But for Adi Shankara, there is absolutely no inscriptional evidence as cross reference, because in any research, I tell you, I can simply say, he was here, that is how people are doing. But at every stage, you should have a cross reference from other sources, and that the two sources should match with each other. Then only you will be able to say this has happened in that particular time. You know the event has happened. But what about time? In Ramayana, and my next book is Ramayana. I tell you, before the year end, I'm going to bring out Ramayana. For Ramayana also, we don't have inscriptional evidence. We don't have the year name. For Mahabharata, we were able to know, but for Ramayana, we don't have. So how I am going to solve it? At the time of Ramayana, Rama, some Pandya king was there, Ravana was there, and that Ravana and Pandya king, they had some issues, and that is recorded in Pandyan inscription. So there was a Pandya contemporary at that time. So I have to go after Pandya, not after Rama. First of all, I have to bring out the time period of that Pandya. From there, I will be showing, he is because during his time Ravana lived, because Ravana had an issue with him. So Rama must have lived. See, this is how it is coming around. We cannot simply say they lived or he lived. We have to give some cross-referential evidences. That is where epigraphy comes first, because that gives you the exact date. Whereas for in archaeology, I tell you it's a relative date. Relate for 100 years or 200 years, plus or minus that side or that side, that will be in archaeology. Whereas epigraphy gives you the exact date. That is the difference.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that, ma'am. So, Sonia ji, you have any question to ask, or I can go to the next one?
Arun, not at this stage. I would like to listen. Please carry on.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. So, Jayasree ma'am, my question, like I read about your books, a couple of your books which you have written, especially about this Ramanuja Itihasa. That talks about the Islamic invaders. That's why, we are talking about, it talks about Ghazni also, it talks about Tipu also, right? From that period. So I was little, the question is very like, why, how come, like Ramanuja is a spiritual part, right? And Tipu and Ghazni, all they are not spiritual, they are more into some other thing, they are more of conquest, right? How are you able to connect these both and get into this particular part of, this is one thing which I want to understand because how Ramanuja you connected with Tipu and then found out, this happened and his atrocities again. Yeah, please.
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and even I never thought that I will be connecting Ghazni with Tipu while I started the research. But those who know Ramanuja's history know this thing. Uh, During his period, uh, a Muslim invasion has occurred in Melkote. Nowadays, you pronounce it as Melukote. Originally, it should be called as Melkote. Melkote means Mela means west. Cote means a fort, and there is another meaning also. Mel means high, a fort and a higher place. Melkote, Melakote, Melkote. Ramanuja, he was persecuted by a Chola king, and that is he could not live in Sri Lanka because of the activity of a king who insisted that Ramanuja should comply with his opinion that he will follow only Shaivism, whereas Ramanuja was a Vaishnavite. And why this happened, that's a different thing. That if there is time, we will come to that. So, unable to withstand the activities of the king, the Chola king, Ramanuja was forced to leave Sri Lanka, and he went by walk all along the Kaveri, and finally he landed at a place called Thondanur. Today it is known as Thonnur. When he went there, it is being told in all the hagiographies on Ramanuja that the temples were empty. He, being a Vaishnavite, he just opted for Vishnu temples. We have no idea about whether any Shaiva temples existed. But here he went to Vaishnavite temples. All the temples were without any god. They were all in dilapidated condition, and there was nobody to take care. How it happened? Who could have done it? Who in 1,000 years ago, who were there in India to ransack a temple or to cause a temple, damage a temple, or remove the deity? Who in those days have done it? They have built temples, not destroyed temples. That is one question. And then, second, what happened? He renovated those temples. He got people to build the temple and then also consecrated the new deity. So that's all fine. Then after some time, what happened? He went to Melkote. Melkote is somewhat some 25 to 30 kilometers from Thondanur only. From there, from Thondanur, you can see that in a long way, it's a range of hills. And there he had gone to get the sacred mud. That is, this Vaishnavas used to wear that Thiruman, sacred mud. To get the sacred mud, he had gone over there. There he found the deity. The deity means it's Moolavar deity, the main deity made of granite stone that you are finding in the temple, inside the temple. That deity was found buried in a place, and a huge anthill has been formed over that, and they were able to see the deity there. Who did it? Why it happened? Why there is no temple there? Nobody there to tell what had happened. So see this period, when he had gone over there, it was around in 1078 he had gone over there, and he found this in 1099. That is in the 11th century. So in the 11th
Ma'am,
century, yes.
ma'am, sorry to interject.
Okay,
I know you
please.
are going the flow. No, I wanted you to tell specific this makes it very interesting because what was age of Acharya Ramanuja when he did all this? Because he walked. The main thing is he told he walked
60
from
years,
Srirangam there.
60, 60 years. He was
Absolutely. And this
60.
is
Really,
absolutely,
you actually, those days, people lived up to 100, years. And he was a yogi by himself, I should say. And he was even known as a doctor because he was able to cure people. King Vishnuvardhana's daughter was cured by him. And he used to have a
mhm,
long danda, a stick, and then he will do some mantric things. And then he was able, by touching the people with the danda, he was able to cure people. So some extraordinary power due to his yogic trance or whatever that he has got it. And he was 60 when he was forced to go out of the country. And when he was 80 when he found out this deity on Melkote. So coming
absolutely.
back to our
Why?
question, when he's 80,
Yeah,
when
why?
they used
Huh,
to walk only, they don't go take any palanquin. There was no horse fights, no rath, only by walk. You can just think about that mental strength that he had. And I have shown
absolutely,
you.
ma'am.
Hmm.
Yeah, that is what the reason why I asked this. Yeah, the reason why I asked, sorry to interject again, the reason why I asked this, I mean, nowadays, if you look at it, people find it, if you ask them to go to a small time to do something, no, they used to see these are the history. Our ancestors, they had struggled so much to reclaim our temples, rebuild our kalachar, the culture, and our people are so, in a flash of the mind, they just destroy it and they say, hey, it's all humble. So that is what I wanted to make this point. At the
That
age of
is
60 and 80, he walked and he saw to that he reestablished the temple back. Yes, ma'am.
No,
Continue, please.
this
Sorry.
is because why today people are not able to believe modernization. In modern ways, we use all conveyance. Modes of conveyance are there. In those days, Ramanuja used to go to Tirupati. For going and coming back, it will take 1 year. Go by walk only. They used to go by walk. Imagine from Sribarambudur is just going every day. They can walk some 10 kilometers. Only up to that he can walk. Then take rest. Then go. Then they climb the hill by walk. In those days, there is no proper road. And what about the wild animals there on the way? They have withstood all that. So it is told in the hagiographies that after making a trip to Tirupati, he used to take off for 1 year. He won't go anywhere. He'll be taking rest. He'll be at his smut, not walk anywhere. So it was very tedious. What the journey had been tedious, but they have taken up that journey. And this one at 60 years, he was forced to come. Otherwise, he would have
Mhm.
stayed in Srirangam. And
Yeah, ma'am. Continue, please continue. Yes, ma'am.
what happened in Melkote? Why the deity is found under the ant hill? Where is the main temple? That is where Ramanuja started asking, and then he found that the Utsava Murti was in Delhi, was with the Turushka. How it is mentioned is a Turushka leader, Dilli Shah, who was a Turushka, a Turkic origin, a Delhi Shah. Only Delhi that time also it was known as Delhi. Delhi was known as Delhi 10,000, 1,000 years ago. So he came to know that the Utsava Murti is in the custody of a Delhi Shah. So let me go by walk and then get it back from him. He went and then he got it. So who had taken it? The Delhi Shah, a Turkish origin. Somebody had come to Thondanur, or somebody had come to Melkote and ransacked, taken away the riches, the deities. Who is after the deities? You tell me. You want me to tell? Who wants who wants to ransack the temples and then take away the idols? Needless to say, who would have taken it? And then who it is? It was not Malik Kafur. It was not Malik Kafur because Malik Kafur came only in the 14th century. But this has happened in the 11th century. And then only we have actually in the Ramanuja hagiography itself, it has been told that he had gone over there and then got from the Dilisha and all that. But people have started thinking this cannot be so because our present day historians say there is no Islamic invasion at that time. There is no Islamic invasion in the 14th century, except the one by Ghaznavid to Somnath. Only Somnath was destroyed in the year 1025-26. That's all. And then Mahmud of Ghazni had died in the year 1030. There is no evidence of him of having taken a southern route. So how could this have happened? Maybe a nearby ruler would have done. But if a nearby lord, yes, yes,
Ma'am, you were talking about Malik Kafur, na? Malik Kafur was a general of Alauddin Khilji.
okay,
Yeah, Khilji was a Turk. They were all Turks, the army of Turks. So they destroyed Nalanda in 1196 AD. Yeah. So definitely, if Malik Kafur or the Turkish army of Alauddin Khilji was involved, then this should have happened somewhere around the 12th century, end of the
yes.
12th century. That is 1190, 96. That means from 1150 to 1200 or 1210 AD. Somewhere around this time.
Yeah, this is
That's what
much
I
earlier.
think.
This is nearly 200 years earlier than that. That is why historian Dr. Nagaswamy did not agree with that. He said it is not possible. Only the followers of Ramanuja have cooked up a story to create an aura around Ramanuja. That's what they said. But why should everybody, like only acharyas, have written the hagiographies? Not an ordinary person. There was no historian in those days. Only the Guru Parampara, the gurus who followed him. He is also a guru, and they only have written that. Why should they write something which was not there? There is no need to bring in a kind Turkish ruler, a Dilli Shah of Turushka. There is no need to say unless the concerned person was a Turushka, isn't it? So this has happened. So everybody had rejected it. Actually, this has come to such a level that even people have of the followers of Ramanuja started saying that it was somebody, some Yamaduraya or somebody else who had taken away the deity. Because the question comes, why he had to go to Delhi to get the Utsava Murti? For this Utsav Mulavar Murti, which is found buried, you can say a lot of reasons. An earthquake was there, some natural calamity had happened, you can say. But what about the Utsava Murti that he got from Delhi Shah in Delhi? And they said, no, he didn't go to Delhi. He went to a nearby place only. That's why they said. But in Melkote, every year in the Kumbh Masa, there is a day earmarked as Delhi Shwara Utsava, Delhi Utsav. Delhi Utsav Day. On that day, Ramanuja had returned, taking the deity back. So even today, every year on the particular nakshatra of Kumbh Masa, they go round in a procession in the Melkote. Ramanuja's day, image is taken, and also the Utsava Murti is also taken. Why should it happen? Why should they do it? If he had not gone over to, if it is in some other place, they say near Nagamangala or in some other place, you can say Nagamangala Utsav Day, Nagamangala entry from Nagamangala. But why should they say Delhi Utsav? So that itself, that is a cross references we are saying. When we are arriving at the historicity or the truth of a situation or an event, we are looking at the cross references. Why should it be? You have to give an answer, convincing answer for that. So, like this, when we are going through, we find that some, what shall I say, incursion or people have come over there of Turshka origin. People of Turshka origin had come over to Thondanur and Melkote, had ransacked the temples. And we see another thing also I told you. The moment he entered Thondanur, he found the temples empty. 3 temples were there. All the 3 temples were without any deity. So who had done it? So they have a ransacked Melkote also, taken away the murti because the murti is of some metal. So they are very concerned about. They are very such people were after idols only. They've taken all the riches and they've killed everybody there. That is why nobody lived to tell Ramanuja that such and such person came and then did like that. Because it's in the same century, within a few decades, he had come over there. This is then the question of when this happened, when this could have happened, and that I have found out in this analysis, in this research. This first incursion into South, this has happened around the year 1031-32. In 1030, Ghaznavid had died. But what happened? He had his nephew known as Syed Salar Masood. Salar Masood, you would have heard about him. Uh, he was killed by Suhail Dev, and yeah, his Suhail Dev has been given a kind of memorial recently, maybe a few years ago, by the BJP government, because that was the first event of having conquered a Muslim invader. Before that, they have come and we could not conquer them. We could not stop them. But the Salar Masood was killed, and successfully, whatever advances they were making, they could be stopped at that time by Sohail Dev. So everybody knows Salar Masood there, but his accomplice has come to Thondanur. In Thondanur, there is a tomb of the fanatical follower of Ghazni, Ghaznavid, and that carries a name, that tomb carries a name, Ghazi Salat Sayyid Masood. And I was surprised when I was going through that. This is the Salar Masood Sahib. You can see this in 1939 issue of, I think, Epigraphica India, I think, or Epigraphica Karnataka, it could have been. The archaeological department. This is an archaeological notice, which it says, in Thondanur, there is a tomb of Sayyid Salar Masood, where you can see the pillars of Hindu temple. That tomb is housed in a place which was originally a Hindu temple. You can see the base here. The base is that of the Hindu temple. Upon that, a new construction has come up. And there are pillars which you find only in the Hindu temples. And in 1939 archaeological work, it's in the pillars of this Hindu temple only. Hanuman figures are also there. But now I visited this place. When I went personally, I did not find any Hanuman. This is the one. I didn't find any Hanuman figure. It had been removed after that. By 1939, it was there. And this structure is housing the tomb of Salar Sayyid Masood. But the question is, yes, this is a temple, a small hillock. Upon the temple, this mausoleum is there. The question, while I was doing the research, because initially we started with a question from Mr. Arun, how we are doing it, how we can say how the epigraphic or archaeological researches are being done. Here, a main question came up. In Thondanur, this Ghazi, that is this tomb, has the name Salar Sayyid Masood, but Sayyid Salar Masood's tomb is in Bahraich, in UP, near Nepal border. It's a very famous one. How can tombs of the same person exist in two different places? One in
Exactly.
UP. What is the question?
Actually, my question was the very same thing. Look, Raja Sohail Dev, his kingdom, he was a king. His kingdom was around Kannauj, Bahraich, all the places. And Bahraich was his main capital or something. So, and he had defeated, yeah, Shravasti was the name then. So, he had actually defeated Sayyid Salah Mazur there, in a battle and beheaded him. So I was also wondering how come a battle has taken place and the death has taken place in Uttar Pradesh in the north. How come this tomb is in mausoleum is in Thondanur? So that
Yes.
was
Not only that, within UP and Bengal, nearly 7 to 8 tombs are there, mausoleums are there, bearing the same name. And also the Urs, they say, that annual Urs for festival date. At the date of that, what we call that Tithi or yearly anniversary, the death time. That comes in Rajab, that Hijri month of Rajab, the
Yeah,
same date.
yeah.
Some 7 or 8 tombs are there in North India. Let them be North India, I don't bother. But how come the same name on the tomb exists in a very remote place in Karnataka, near Mysore, in Thondanur, on the banks of a Thondanur lake here? How can that happen? So that question was taken up by me, and then only I found out it had been told by historians. The historians have come to know about the different tombs in North India. So they all have said all fabricated. Fabricated for what purpose? What purpose it serves? See, normally, what is happening on the day of that annual Woods festival, People who are not able to go to Bahrain can go to the other tombs, other mausoleums in UP and Bengal. That's what has happened. So maybe they say, you people, the historians have been saying that for the sake of helping people to go to the nearby ones on the particular day, they have fabricated, they have created such kind of mausoleums. Then how come there is one in Thondanur who from all the way from North India had to come here to do the annual festival here? So that question comes then only when we are going through the further information. I came across one book called Mirror of Masood. Actually, it was written in Persian language. The translated or translation of it is available, and it was well written by a Russian author, historian, Anna Kararova or somebody. And she only just went through. It's not possible. There are so many people. She's giving the names of the people who have come along with Salan Masood. And then two of his accomplices, associates, have gone to South. She is given the names as Mir Bhaktiar and Sultanu Salaluddin. These people went up to Kannur, but there in a local fight, Mir Bhaktiar was killed. The other one only returned. So the one who was killed must have been buried there itself. That is the normal derivation. So that is what you are finding in Thondanur. So in the fight has happened, even though then we are going after where is Kannur. There are two Kannurs. There is one in Kerala and then one in Karnataka. This is near Mangaladevi, Mangalore. Close to Mangalore, there is one Kannur on the seashore itself. Like if you are coming on the west coast, earlier it was known as Alupa Kingdom. Alupa Kingdom, starting from Honavar and then Badkal and then Mangalore, then Kannur. So in the coastal, these regions were very prosperous in the ninth up to from 9th to 10th century. They were very prosperous. There were many ports also, and they were having interaction with Roman and Arab traders. So the people of Arab origin, the people on the other side of the Arabian Sea, had known about these places, and there was even this Alupa kingdom. I should say the earliest so far. Earliest gold coin found out in India was issued by the Alupas only. So that shows the
Correct.
richness, rich, how wealthy they were. So they would, and also there was a mosque in the 9th century itself. A mosque has come up in Barakuru or somewhere in that region. So people on the other side of Arabian Sea have heard about it, and they know about the richness of these places. And everywhere we have temples, and we have put all our riches in the temples only. So two associates of Salar Masood have taken a southern route along the coastal side, come to Kannur, and on going back, they have gone to Melkote, that is Thondanur. On returning, on the return journey, they did not take up the same route, but they have entered inland. Some 240 kilometers from Kannur is Thondanur. There they have fought. They immediately next to that is Melkote. There also they have ransacked. You can see the locations here. From Kannur to Thondanur, they have gone there. And in Thondanur, the local army, there's a Hoysalas were there. The Hoysalas, Dwarasamudram, their capital was in Dwarasamudram. They had a very lean army only staying in Thondanur at that time. So the fight has happened. Mir Bakhtiyar was killed, and the Sultanu Salaluddin had buried him there, taken away the riches. So while going back, he would not have fought anywhere because he would have without his accomplice. He would have thought of just safeguarding whatever he had looted now. So the route also, let's going from Nagamangala, then Nashik, then Ajmer. Ajmer was the location in that period because Salar Masood's father belonged to Ajmer. Salar Masood, who he is, if you're asking me that question, we know Mahmud of Ghaznavi. He had a sister who he married to, one Salar Sahu. Salar Shahu was known to have defeated the kings of Ajmer. The Ajmer was originally a Shiv temple, and Hindus were there. He defeated them and then taken hold of Ajmer. The Ajmer Dargah people are going and then giving the cloth and everything. It was once Shiva temple, and Salar Sahu was responsible for destroying that place. And Mahmud was very happy about it. He got his sister married to him, and Salar Masood was born to those two people. So right from the time of Somnath ransacking, it is told that Salar Masood, he only suggested that Somnath Linga should be destroyed. 17 times he came, but he didn't touch the deity. He just looted the riches, Mahmud. Whereas this nephew only, he was just 12 years or 13 years at that time. He only said we can destroy the idol. Such kind of extreme idolatry, what shall I say, that his allegiance to his faith, that he only had said that. And so in Ajmer they had a place there for themselves. That was a kind of a safe place for them. So this fellow has to return to Ajmer, and then in Delhi also they would have had a place, because Ramanuja had gone to Delhi. We come to know that they had a barrack, or they had somebody stationed there, not necessarily a sultan or somebody, but a commander in whose custody all these were there. Then you can ask this question: why this? See, when Ramanuja went, it was in 1099, whereas this was looted in 1031 or so. So some 5 decades, 5 decades. Why this was not taken to Ghazni? Normally they had a practice to take it to Ghazni and then break it, use it for their building up purposes. But why it had been kept in Delhi? That question may be coming. But fortunately for us, at that time, Ghazni's son, one Ibrahim, was ruling. And if you are going through his regnal years, what he has done, he had been a kind of moderate person. He didn't insist on this kind of looting, and he didn't rush to doing things. Whereas his son, Masood the three, he had once again looted or something. That is, in 1099 only he died. Ibrahim died. So in that year only Ramanuja had gone over there. So that coincidence also makes me think that there was a laxity of security at that time. People, when they are seeing Ramanuja, a very old, frail person, coming and asking for just one idol, he would have agreed, okay, take whichever one you want. You just see whether it comes to you. If it is yours, you take it. Oh, don't bother. I don't bother. So this kind of laxity would have been there, because in that year, main commanders would have gone over to Ghazni, because Ibrahim had died in that year. So if it is a year before or year after, I don't think Ramanuja could have recovered it. But in the history of recovery, I think he was the only person, if not the only person, he was the first person to have recovered the lost property, the lost due to the Islamic fundamentalism, without bloodshed. We could have recovered in other times also, but there was violence in those times. But here, without any bloodshed, he was able to get it. That's the only time, or the first time in the history of Islamic fundamentalism, I should say. Really, it is
Wonderful.
something
Thanks.
which go into the history books, particularly the finding of this Salar Masood, that is another tomb in Thondanur, is something which I am bringing out for the first time in my book. I have both the Tamil and English versions of that. First time it is being brought out, but until then, people have been saying that it was fabricated. But now I have proved that it is not fabricated. Really, such people lived. But you can ask why they can have why the annual ceremony is on the same date. It happened because of Firoz Shah Tughlaq. What happened? In the 14th century, Firoz Shah Tughlaq had come into being. At that time, he started having a lot of hallucinations or dreams, in which he started seeing Salar Masood. Then he started getting very much involved or attracted to him, and he was the one who enlarged his mausoleum, or who wanted to create a kind of aura around Salar Masood. And so, what he did, wherever his accomplices have died, there he created this small tombs were there. He made them into mausoleums, and he declared that the annual ceremony should be celebrated on the same dates. So at that time, he had known there was one in Thondanur. Firoz Shah Tughlaq had known that there was one in Thondanur, and in Thondanur also it was done, but nobody had known about it. At that time, we didn't have Muslim population in Thondanur that much. But only after Hyder Ali had come up, he bought some lands from Ujjayanagara. Betamgare grant is there as an evidence. He bought lands and then he gifted it to that place by the tomb, that is that mausoleum. It was a very small one, but by then the folklore has been developed around him. Even I tell you, in Shashi Tharoor's book Riot, you
Mhm.
can search Wikipedia. He has talked about Salar Masood. And there is a film also, I think, taken in his name. You know why? Because of the love story
Mhm.
behind him. He was about to marry a girl the next day. The previous day, Suhail Dev had come and attacked him, and he died in that. So immediately, our Bollywood people, they get a lot of ideas about the emotional turmoil that he would have had and the girl would have had. So people started believing. People, we go after
Yeah.
all these celluloid things. And moreover, that the worst part of it is that this Bahraj, why this Bahraj, he chose this Bahraj is that was originally known as Brahmarchi or something. Original name, if you are looking for that, it is Brahmarchi or something. It was a place of sun temple. And the sun god there is known as Balark. Arka, you say it's for sun. Bala
Arkissa.
is a
Yeah.
Bal. He was a Bala. That is a young sun. The first rays of the morning sun fall on the feet of the deity in that place. It used to be said. And there is a kund, Surya Kund, a tank of that sun, which is supposed to have some herbal or medicinal effect. Normally, sun is supposed to cure skin diseases and leprosy. You can remember, like in Mahabharata, Krishna's son Shamba, he brought Shakadvipa Brahmins and also sun god established in Kashmir, in Martand. What for what? He was suffering from leprosy. To get a cure from leprosy, only he brought sun god. So sun god is supposed to cure any skin related problems. So this kund is, if you take a bath in this kund, you get relieved of skin diseases. So this was just glowing, like this place was brimming with so many pilgrims in those days. Such a popular place that Salar Masud could not stand it. He could not stand it. Actually, on record, it is there that he said, he's supposed to have said, this material sun should not be there. We should bring our spiritual Islamic sun into this place. So I want to destroy that sun temple. He destroyed it. And his followers, they have enshrined him as a tomb in Bahrain only. So that kund is there. What happened? When people go over there, they get relieved of it. They think Salar Masood have done that. So he has become a peer.
Yeah.
This is how
That's
history
what I
has
was
been
about
written.
to ask you. Yeah.
So even Hindus are going there thinking that because of Salar Masood's spiritual effect, we are getting cured of that. But that's and recently I heard from the news, the UP Chief Minister, Mr. Yogi, he said we will retrieve it. We will get a sun temple re-established there. We will retrieve the sun solar kund, that is Surya kund. It should happen, but they are connecting it with the Salar Masood, and this is being told. You know how the historians are trying to undo this. They mention all this in, I think, Wire or Print. Also, they have written this article. They mention all these at the end. They will say, "Do you know one thing? Uh, Mahmud of Ghaznavi, he didn't have any nephew. That is how they will finish it.
Oh.
You say this is Mahmud's nephew. Salar Masood is Mahmud's nephew, sister's son, and all these things you talk about him. It's there. There is one article there on the net I found. At the end of it, the funny part of it, there is no nephew of Mahmud. This is how they are
Oh, I see.
trying to just flip flop. They would just want to undo the
Exactly.
story. But Mirror of Masood
Well,
is. And what about this Thondanur tomb? This is what I'm saying. Okay, you
yeah.
say anything for the tombs of UP or Bengal, all those tombs, some fabricated you call, whatever. But how come there is one here in Thondanur and there only Tipu Sultan is coming? You asked about
Well,
how you.
before yeah, before that, what see Bollywood, they can make a dacoit and a smuggler as a hero and they release a multi-normal. That's a different thing. Let's not get into. But what I was one more very interesting thing you had. I mean, sorry if I again cutting you in. See, when I was showing this part, right?
Yes,
Not this one. I was looking at.
this is a two, and the other one is a
This one.
very
This one.
follower of Ghazni. This is
Yeah,
from.
this one. When I'm looking at it right now, when you are talking about this part. Maybe you'll cover that also. But there, I mean, when I saw when I was reading your book also, there were I was astonished with how the historians have twisted it again. What is written is there are many accounts of Acharya Ramanujaji's supposed conversions of Jains to Hindus, especially as Vaishnavites, and also desecration of temples built on existed Jain monuments. I mean, we never, I mean, to be frank, we have only built. No discussion has happened. But this is what, if you look at this, this is what your book also say, mentioned, no? Monument
Yes.
of Muslim was endowed with spoils of Brahmins just on.
Yes,
So can you
yes.
please, how to
Yes,
counter this? Yeah.
I will come to that. I will come to that. Actually, what had happened was these temples were ransacked and people have been killed. There is absolutely nobody.
Mhm.
Uh, then what happens? Some people who have come over there. See, a place is desolate for some time, and then people migrations
Mhm.
have been happening. Or the people themselves would have converted to Jainism or somewhat. It's wrong to say that Jains occupied or Jains converted a temple, Hindu temple. Same way, it is wrong to say that Hindus converted a Jain temple into thing. Because both of them don't go after violence. And the Hindus, when they set up a temple, there are rules of constructing a temple where the prana pratishtha
Mhm.
is done. Only there they will have their deity. They will not keep their deity in some place. So they cannot simply like that put a deity in a Jain temple. That is one thing. In the same way, the Jains may not have that kind of pranapratishtha things. I am not sure about it. But if a temple is already empty and nobody is there to claim, and they have no other means to construct their own temple, then you can expect them to have started worshipping in that temple, their deity in their place, already vacated by people. That is what has happened in Thondanur. So it has happened in many other places also, because the Jains also don't go after violence and Hindus also don't violate other person's worshipping place.
Right.
So
Yeah.
this has happened. So what had happened was, when Ramanuja came, three Vishnu temples, they were without any deity, just they were Venugopal Swami and Nambi Narayana. You can find these two, one behind the other in Thondanur, you can see them. And then there is another one, which is Narasimha temple, which is on top of a hill. On that only you can see this tomb was established. Now you will see, please show that. The next one, the other one. Earlier you showed one
Yeah.
before
Okay.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, this bund. The bund is a Thondanur. There is a Thondanur Kere or Thondanur Lake or Thonnur Lake or Moti Talab. There is a very big lake there, and then R is where there is a Narsimha temple today, which was supposed to have, which was originally Ramanuja Mutt. R is for Ramanuja Mutt, now converted into Narsimha temple. V is the Venkata Krishna's Venugopal Swami temple. N is Nambi Narayana temple. You can see a small whitish thing. That is the city even today, a very small township only. And from there you come here, there is one D. A D is Dargah, which is on top of a hill. Only V and D were there initially. They were all temples. D was Narsimha temple, N Narayana temple, V Venugopal Swami temple. Then R is where Ramanuja Mutt was there. And when we come to Tipu's matter, we'll come to all that. So only these
Right.
temples were there. These three temples were there when Ramanuja came. Because I'm coming to the question that you have raised about the
Yeah.
Jains
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
ones. In
Yeah.
this, the what I showed us D was a huge temple on top of an hill. Huge temple in the sense it had a huge courtyard. I think that photo also will be available. A huge mandap or courtyard was there. Even today, you can see that. You can see the parikrama around that. This one. This is the dargah. What is shown as dargah is actually a slightly elevated. The central one is where the Ghazi's tomb is there, and then there is a courtyard to the north of it. The access is through east. Only in Hindu temples you access through east, and then access is through east, and to the north of it there is a very huge courtyard. In the stories of that is in the hagiographies, I don't say stories, it's a history of Ramanuja. It has been told after going to Thondanur, he stayed in that temple for 3 years, and that courtyard was there where he was engaged in debating with people of other faiths. Here, Jains. He had argued or had engaged in debates with the Jains only in the courtyard. Only this temple has, it's a very huge one. I have gone over there in person and I have seen that. Only the outline, that is outline, you can see a wall-like structure. I'll at least show the other one also. It is nothing but the parikrama where you see the pillared pathway. There is a pillared pathway in that area. Now it is all demolished. Only the pillared pathway is there. Here he has won over the Jains. It is being told in the Ramanuja hagiographies that there was a screen in front of him and he was sitting on the other side. On the other side, the Jains were there, and he was like Adisesha at the time, having different hoods and then answering to everyone simultaneously through each mouth like that. And then the Jains were all convinced, and then they came back to his faith. The problem is, this is not conversion. They came back to, it's a garvapsi, I tell you. They came back to their parent faith. And people say Vishnuvardhan, he changed to Vishnuvardhan. His very name is Vishnuvardhan only. Bittivardhan, Bittiga, Bittu means Vishnu. Bitti is this Kannada name for Vishnu. In Vittu Chittan, Vittu we say in Tamil. It is in Kannada, it is a bit Bittu. And if you are going through his inscriptions, it shows he comes from Hoysalas. Who were the Hoysalas? They claimed themselves as descendants of Yadavas. Yadavas were Jains. You tell me? No. So originally only Jains, Hindus were there. Originally the Dwaraka people were there. In fact, Thondanur was known as Yadavapura. And then Melukote was known as Yadavagiri. And this Thondanur lake I am showing, it was originally known as Yadava Nadi. Yadava Nadi, it was. This Yadava Nadi was built into a tank like this. I can show you a small connection there. On one side, on both sides, some mountain ranges are coming. A small distance of 300 meters or so, there was a gap. In that gap, the torrential rains, whenever there was a rain, that area gets filled up and then water gets washed away. It doesn't stay here. You can see that bund. And then Ramanuja, with the help of the local Yadavas, have built that Kare. Kare is that bund. And I should say that this is first of its kind in India, we can say, because it's an arch dam, which is something similar to what you see in Idiki. Idiki Dam is also an arch dam built in between two mountain ranges. In the same way, this is also built in that way. So 1,000 years ago, this is Idiki. In the same way it is built now, the Idiki is just only 1,000 years old, 100 years old. This is 1,000 years old. The oldest we can say, we can say this is the first of its kind in India. Maybe in the world, we don't know, we have to check. But this was built by Yadavas. They might have changed to Jainism when there is nobody. See, it's all like the gurus that you have at that time when everybody have been killed and nobody was there to take off the temples, and some Jain gurus have come over there and they have started following Jainism. Doesn't mean when they come back they have been converted. They are coming back to the parent religion. So what happened? This the person who had written this is he is Buchanan, Francis Buchanan. He is we can say he is involved in the geographic measurement and all that on behalf of the British government. After Tipu was killed, British government had sent him to just take the measurements or just watch or just to get a report on all the regions that they have not gone over there. No? So when he had gone over there, then only he collected all this information. At that time only he came to know there is a tomb. He had written in his travelogue that there is a tomb in Thondanur of a fanatical follower of Ghazni, and that is Mahmud of Ghazni. And then his name is also given by him. And this he also says, and this Tonur Kare was made by Ramanuja himself, and Tipu, for some reason, had destroyed that bund. He destroyed the bund. Only in that context, you see, he destroyed the bund created by the Hindu doctor who made the bund using the destroyed material of the Jain temples. This is purely out of, what shall I say, an ill will towards Hindus, I should say that. This is not true, because what he says is as though the Jain temples have been destroyed by Ramanuja, and using that material he has made that bund. It was not so. The Jains have come out of their own faith, started following Vaishnavism, so their temples are no longer in use. So it have been dismantled. You should be happy. It was not destroyed and then thrown in as a debris. It was reused. Whatever was not been used, they have reused it now for making this bund. So this person, this Buchanan, he has mischievously made that comment. Because when you are going through it, I'll ask you one thing. This information is also found in Shravana Belagula, Sthala Purana. Shravana Belagula is a Jain place. It was the Sthala Purana was written by the Jains. They have written that Ramanuja had constructed this Thonur Kare. It was named as Trimala Sagara at that time. Original name was Trimala Sagara. So they themselves have written that Ramanuja had built. In that context, they have said it was built using the broken material from the Jain temples. Suppose somebody was converted, or somebody was killed, wanton destruction, what had happened, they would have mentioned that. They didn't mention that. In this context, I am dealing with another aspect also in the book. It is about a very atrocious accusation that is being made, that in the debate, the loser will be killed. The loser will be ground into an oil mill. The loser will be made to undergo torture and then die. These are all the things that is being made out in Tamil Nadu. These Dravidian stock people are often talking about it. But I tell you, suppose somebody have been killed like that, don't you think the Sthala Purana would have mentioned that? They would have definitely mentioned that. There is no mention of it in the opponents. The Sthala Purana is an opponent of Ramanuja. The Jains are the opponents of Ramanuja. They would have definitely written that he had, because of him, this also have died. And in that place, when Ramanuja was there in Thondanur, he had not only in the Narsimha temple, in other places also he had won the Jains and Buddhists in the debates. But there also they are mentioned like they have been ground into oil mill. They have been ground in the oil mill. It's all figurative, not real. It's just they have told like that. But mostly there are wherever they have somebody have died. I tell you, people have died by torturous methods. But they would have taken up, in the case of Mandana Mishra, also we are seeing, they are taking up that kind of fate on themselves. In a debate, they used to say, if you win, I will come to your faith. That is one part. Or, if you win, I will just give up my arguments. I'll just remain mute. That is second way. Another one, if you win, I will die by so and so methods. This is how they used to come for a debate. And those who have made a vow to die in a torturous way, if they have lost the debate, they have died like that. It is not that Ramanuja or anybody, any Hindu leader guru had made them die so. Particularly in Ramanuja's life, we don't come across any such deaths. If somebody had died like that, the works of the opponents would have mentioned that. None of them have mentioned,
Correct.
particularly.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes,
Any
ma'am.
question?
Ujjwalji. Ujjwalji.
Any question?
Yeah, ma'am, at this stage, one thing is clear, like what you have conclusively shared with us, is that the invasion into South Okay, it happened somewhere around 1031, 1032 AD. Am I
Yes.
correct in assuming this?
Yes, yes,
So
31
then,
or 32.
yeah, 31, 32. So it started from Thondanur down south. How did it progress? Because I seem to have read some patchy accounts of Malik Kapoor and his armies in Tamil Nadu also, some parts of Tamil Nadu also. What is the
That's
truth
very
in this? How did it go? How did it go?
That's Malik Kafur is very late, actually 14th century. Malik Kafur comes in the 14th century. He goes up to Srirangam twice. There was two times he had gone over there, according to the present that is available evidences. But to tell you the fact, I have not gone through all those things. That is a different period. Whereas this one, which is not yet proven, but the evidences are there in Ramanuja's hagiography. So what has happened? Then I have gone to those details and then brought it out. Only in that case you are able to find out, yes, an invasion did take place, and that is supposed to be the earliest one. Soon after the Somnath issue. So
But
this Malika 200 years later. But as of today, people are believing that that is the earliest incursion into South India. But not so. This is what I
okay,
am bringing in my research.
okay, madam. Then after 1030, 1031, 32, and thereafter, where all did this invasion happen? Can you educate us on that if possible?
That's
Yeah.
a totally different one. And then I must honestly say that I have not done by
No problem.
myself. Whatever I am
No problem.
saying, be from your other sources, not from my sources. Whatever I am talking now is from my own sources, from the research that I have given, and I have given evidences for everyone to see and also to debate and then come to a conclusion that I am right or wrong.
Absolutely,
The
ma'am. And
book gives you,
so
I have given references, and the book gives you all the references, like from on what basis I am saying. See, if I am saying the Mirror of Masood, I am giving the link to that. And then for
correct.
Buchanan, why Buchanan says, I am giving the travelogue of Buchanan and then the relevant portions where he has talked. So, this particular period, that 11th century incursion, is not yet documented, not known to
Mhm.
the outside world. But this is the earliest one. The evidence of it is there in Ramanuja's history. So, from Ramanuja's history, I am finding out. If you're asking me how I landed up at this for Malik Kafur and other things, I didn't go after that because it's already documented. Everyone knows there is nothing that should be found out. Maybe if you do a revisit of it, you will find out something new. One thing I found out, what is new in Malik Kafur, I tell you, in Tamil book I have written in the appendix portion. It is about the women, the Muslim women who have fallen for the deity, Hindu deity. Because in this issue also, in Melkote deity, he brought from Ramanuja, was able to get the deity from Dilisha. Dilisha's daughter was in love with that deity. So she came after him. And but by then, when she came here, Ramanuja had consecrated the deity inside the temple. So he didn't allow her. Okay, that's you. You were having the deity all along, fine. Now he is our deity. You worship him. If you want to reach him, you pray for him. You do meditation. He asked him to stay in a cave, in a nearby cave, and then meditate on the deity. And she did meditate, and she died also immediately after that. And now she is being worshipped as Varanandamma, Nachiyaramma, or Tulka Nachiyar. We accept all those people. Any devotee is acceptable to us from whichever background they have come up. This Varanandamma, I mean, the deity Narain and marriage festival was celebrated year after year in those days. Even the nearby villages where I have gone, I talked to some of them. They say every year they have this festival of this marriage festival done there in the Varanandamma cave, and also in the marriage of their families. Initially they start about they talking about the marriage of Varanandamma, then only their marriage issues. And this was made into a many Indian literature also in those days, some 200, 300 years ago. Same way in Malikafu's invasion in Sri Rangam, one that lady, either Malikafu's daughter, somebody say, or Alauddin's daughter, someone says, she came after the deity, but she could not get the deity, so she died there. And here, there also, we have made her as a deity. No, female deity or the spouse of Sri Ranganatha. Similarly, there is one in Tirupati also. In Tirupati also similar thing has happened, and there also the same Malik Kafur comes into picture. Malik Kafur's daughter, somebody says, and or Alauddin's daughter, we don't know. It's all hearsay. There is no evidence. But one thing I'll tell you, all these three places are connected with Ramanuja. Probably in Thondanur, in Melukote, that was the earliest. In Melukote, when Ramanuja had seen that girl coming and then asking for the deity and then falling dead, then what to tell to the father of that person? That father also came. The Dilisha also came after. But he showed her the deity and then they showed a small image of Lakshmi consecrated at the feet of the deity there. This is your daughter has reached, and he accepted in that age, that person, that Muslim leader had accepted that, and he had donated, as though the deity is his son-in-law. He has donated a lot of riches to the temple. The temple priests say even today, during their yearly Brahma, that is that festival is there, yearly annual festival. At that time, they take out some a long garland of gold, that has got some Persian or Urdu. They say we are not able to know which language it is, but it is some Arabic or something in those golden letters, and it is supposed to have been gifted by that person, the Dilisha. So this is Ramanuja has set a trend there, precedence. So after 200 years after that in Sri Rangam, the same kind of invasion has happened. And then at that time, maybe they have thought, they say that Gurukul had a dream that God himself has told, that girl is in love with me, I want to marry her, that Muslim girl. So they have made a portrait of her there. Even today, every day they do a regular Naivedya and everything. God comes and then even one time, the whatever is being offered to her, like roti or something, is being offered to Sri Ranganatha also. Probably the people who have come after Ramanuja would have thought it is a good ploy to stop further invasion. That they could have tried in Tirupati also, but after that, I don't think it worked. Whether you say that girl loud and then we are giving her all importance, these idolaters would not have budged. So this thing stopped after that. So seeing the connection with Ramanuja, I felt the other two incidences were just done by the local people somehow to safeguard the temple. That could not have been true. Because in both the cases, in Tirupati and Srirangam, same Malik Kafur is involved and the daughter of the person, the daughter of Malik Kafur in both the places. How can they be true? So either the entire incident is cooked up one, or people have just developed over time, or we don't know. But in Srirangam, there is a image of that lady, that Nachia, Tuluka Nachia, that is there. So this kind
Yeah,
of lot,
so
thinking of
the
those things, yeah, I really, how they managed. Really, we are living in a very better. Now we say we are not able to withstand, but definitely that those times very bad. And they
yeah,
have Ramanuja had stood up for 220 years. He lived, and he had seen two kings who were totally against him, who did so too many atrocious things. Two Chola kings he had seen, and then this atrocity here. He had withstood all that, and with all that, after coming back from Melkote, he had gone over to all the Divya Desas and then he had established the procedure of worship. Whatever he has gained in Melkote, right from scratch, he started. The deity was taken up from the ground and then installed. So he has given formulated all the methods of worship. So he had almost become very convinced about how to do better. So he had
yeah,
brought it to other temples also, everywhere. So whatever we are seeing in the temples today, in Vishnu temples, same as what Ramanuja had introduced 1,000 years ago. All going, even we can see through the inscriptions also, because lot of inscriptions are mentioning about the utsavs, how they were being done, all that. So we are able to see how it's all being maintained. It should be maintained for posterity. They brought it to us. And for future, we have to retain it. We have to safeguard it. That is why we are coming and talking and then writing
Absolutely,
like this.
absolutely, man.
Yes.
That is, I mean, wonderfully told. The connections is what we were like initially. It was very intriguing when you said Ramanujam, Tipu Sultan, Ghazni. I was like, I don't, we never saw that connection, right? But you beautifully, in the book also and here
I
also
have
mentioned it
not
very
yet given you that link, that Tipu link only one I will
well.
just, because the time is running out, I know. This
Yeah.
Tipu link, I'll just tell you how Tipu came to know means. I already told you this Ghazi's tomb was enlarged into a mausoleum by Hyder Ali. In his
Mhm.
penultimate year, Tipu had visited that place probably to get the spiritual guidance or whatever, because he wanted to win the British, all that. Until then, he was thinking it was a peer, a spiritual guru. But after going there only, he came to know that he was a Ghazi. He was martyred. So when he came to know by how it all happened, he must have come to know about how Ramanuja had retrieved the looted property. So he has got the martyrdom of the Ghazi wasted. The death of the Ghazi is now a waste because he got it back. That is why he got angry against the Hindu doctor, and he started destroying everything connected with that Hindu doctor. 600 years after Ramanuja. So in that bund, that Thondanur Kare bund, 300 meter long bund, there must have been a temple, I think, because the locals say there was a Krishna temple there, and some people say there was some wealth underneath, so he tried to get. And some people say he simply destroyed the temple. And there is a picture of that in souvenir of Mysore, released by Lord Curzon. It's there in the internet. You can see the picture. You can
Okay.
see that the entire bund had been completely destroyed by him. So the moment it was destroyed, you can see the water just gushed out. Two-thirds of the city got inundated. People then and they died. And then on the way, I showed you already the Google map, isn't it? The Tonur Kare, then Ramanuja RNV, you can see that. That is the route he has taken. From Tonur Kare, he had immediately gone over to R. R is Ramanuja Mutt. The Ramanuja Mutt was destroyed. People, that Guru, Acharya, everybody, that R was destroyed. He put up his military camp there. Then he came to Nabi Narayana temple, looted. Then Venugopal temple, looted. From there, he came to the place where I have shown D. That is the Narsimha temple, which was very dear to Ramanuja. It is where he won the Jains in the debate. So he destroyed it completely and then put up the tomb of that person, that Ghazi, on that, and then made it a dargah. And what had happened the next year, this happened in December 1798. On May 1799, he died. So once he was dead, the British people came. The whatever whomever they were staying there in the Ramanujamat, they were all just flushed out. And this is the Tonur Karepand. And immediately the people who have just escaped from that place, they came. They didn't resurrect the Ramanujamat. What they lost a temple. So they put up the temple, Narsimha temple. If you go to the Narsimha temple there, it's a very small, a small room only. It was not a typical temple today, just 200-year-old construction only. There itself, they used to say Ramanuja won the Jains here. No, it's not so. Whomever is going there will get that doubt. How can it be that this is an original courtyard that is mentioned in the hagiographies? And from there also, I started thinking why it happened. And in the Tamil book, I'm showing some pictures also. There nearby, there is one place, and then there is a tank where Ramanuja was supposed to be seated every day, used to talk to people. The locals are saying even today. This is where Ramanuja, because 200 years means less than 200 years. So I can say some 6 to 6 centuries only. 6 generations would have gone over there. So people have started that memory. In memory, it is still there. Ramanuja was here only. They are showing this present day temple. So it was the originally the Ramanuja Mutt. That I came to know from an inscription in Nabinarayana temple. There is an inscription in Nabinarayana temple saying that Vishnuvardhana had given some grant to Ramanuja Mutt. So at the time of Ramanuja himself, that mutt had been there. And fortunately, people have been reading it. Recently, some 2 months ago, the person who read it, he belonged to the Thondanur mutt tradition. After reading it, he contacted me and he said he's taking it to the GR. They used to say they have there in their records that they had a mutt in Thondanur. Now they are staying in Mysore or in Melkote only, not in Thondanur. There is no mutt today in Thondanur. But they used to say that they had a mutt in Thondanur, but they are not able to trace it. So that memory had gone for them. And then since I have brought it, then I will take it to our GR, they said. And even I gave a plan that we should even, I tell to everybody now here, to you and others who are listening to it, we'll make a pamphlet showing the atrocities done to this. See, you leave alone religion, you leave alone temple. The Thondanur curry, it's a natural resource. How those days they have preserved water. Now we have destroyed it. That should not be done. An assault on nature. So you mentioned all that. Whatever destructions that have been done by Tipu and earlier by the fanatic follower of Ghazni, and you have those pamphlets, just 1 or 2 pages will do. In all the temples, in Melkote temple, Thondanur temples, and in Srirangam, you give to all the devotees who are coming. Srirangam, lakhs of devotees are coming, and here also many devotees are coming. Unless we tell them like this, see, there is no use writing or even talking over the video. I tell you, to reach more people, this is a better way. We can get some philanthropists who can get us thousands of pamphlets created, and then we can have in the temples, to whomever comes, we will just give them, let them know the history of the background history of it. In this way we can reach out to more people, particularly Karnataka. I tell you, Karnataka, whenever I think of it, I have very tender feelings in me, because since having done the Mahabharata book also, I know how the people from the Mahabharata region, post Mahabharata period, and in the Saraswati region, they have migrated to Karnataka. Many people, you take Chalukyas, they are from the place, and then Hoysalas, then Alupa, and in their religious festivals, I tell you, in Karnataka only this Ananta Padmanabha Vrata is very popular.
Mm.
In Ananta Padmanabha Vrata, it was done by Draupadi. There is a story about it. And every year they are staying in Vanvas in the forest. How to know time? So every year, she used to tie up one thread. So each thread shows how many years they have spent in the forest. So in Anantapad, they used to, worship Anantapadmanabha only because he used to give back the wealth. He is a wealth giver. The Anantapadmanabha Vrat is even done today by Karnataka people by tying up some 12 or 13 threads around their hand, and then it is being done. That shows that they have their origin in Mahabharata period. So most of them, I have devoted a full chapter in Ramanuja Itihasa about the Karnataka connection. There is a Pandavapura. The Mandya district was occupied by Pandavas.
Correct.
During their Vanvas, they were staying in different places. Pandavapura is because of that name. And there is one Pandava Kallu where Ramanuja also stayed for some time, did some penance there. So did some meditation there. So really the Karnataka people can take pride in their origins from Mahabharata even before that time. Many of them, if you are doing a genetic analysis, all of them will have some connection with people in Dwaraka or in somewhere in the Saraswati region. So when they have so much of history behind them, tradition behind them, really, it really makes me sad to think that they are glorifying Tipu and they are not even aware of this background. At
Absolutely.
least through this
Absolutely.
or through the distribution of pamphlets in those specific temples, I think we can spread the information about this. If somebody is coming forward and
Absolutely.
ready to write up and write down and then give you the material, and
Absolutely,
anybody is
ma'am.
free to
I
use
think
it, it's public property only, I should say. Anybody is free to use quote from this book and check.
absolutely, ma'am. I'm actually planning to, since you have given the idea, I'm planning to probably approach some of my people here since I stay in Karnataka as of now. So I
Okay.
can, and just to give you the, yesterday I was telling Ujjwalji also, I visited Hampi for 2 days. It
Okay.
was just as a casual trip we went there, but I was astonished to see the amount of the monuments when you see it and if you see it very closely. The first thing I remembered is Jayasree ji would have loved this because there were some Kannada inscriptions there which I have no clue about it. And they
Okay.
were old Kannada. I asked my, wife and my son. They were unable to read it because they said it's a very old Kannada. Right? It was, I mean, and ma'am, when you're saying a Mahabharata connection, I think Anjaneya, they call it as Anjaneya, right?
Jagannatha,
Anjaneya's,
Gokarna.
that, yes, it is there. They
Yeah.
said that is where supposed to be the one. That temple was there. It's top of a hill. We visited there. It's a long trek to walk there, but it's beautiful. I mean, there are a lot of hidden treasure, ma'am. I mean, good
Yeah.
thing you bought about Thondanur to us. Thondanur, I'm staying in Karnataka. I'm embarrassed now. I didn't know about Thondanur. Staying here, I know about Melukote, but I never knew about Thondanur. Right
But you
now,
can
I need to
take,
visit there.
see, I have given the locations also. You can take a kind of a
Correct, ma'am.
train, Thondanur, and then the lake is away. It's a huge one, and you can have your picnic there. You can just stay. There are enough places there, and then from there you
Yeah,
can go to Pandavakallu also. It's a good for trekking near
Pandavagal, I
Narain.
know
It's a
because a
good
lot
for
of my
trekking.
trekkers visit there. Trekker
You
friends
can,
visit there. Yeah.
okay, okay. So you can follow the trail given in the book, but it's really good. All connected with
Yes, ma'am.
the historic figures.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, Ujjwalji, please carry on. And after that, I think we have
No, just
you have given a lot of
just
your
one,
time. Yeah, please. Yeah.
yeah, just one small bite. Ma'am, has that bund, that Tondurukere, has it been repaired then after
Yeah.
the demolition
Yeah.
by Tipu?
What Arunji showed now, that was repaired, that was redone by British people in the same location. But when you go and see there personally, you will be able to see this is the one. The underneath part, all old boulders are there, and that it has been repaired. You can see the old boulders, that mountainous ones, everything there. So over that they have laid a road now. It's not motorable. We can just go sit, then come back. There is a motorable road nearby, and the water. This one was made by the British. So here somewhere here only a temple would have been there. Some temple remnants are still found there. They have kept whatever they could retrieve from the temple there itself. You can see that.
I see the
And
the
is
Nandi
such a
statue
huge
and all
land.
in there. Yeah.
And there are many places along you can go around that. When you there is a motorable road around Thondanur Kare. It's a very huge tank. So there somewhere some vantage points are there where you can just sit, relax, have some food, and come back. It is not it becoming. It is slowly becoming popular, I should say. People from Bangalore go over there. I've heard, but it's a good place to visit.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I think we asked for a short period of time. I think you have given more than your time, and thanks. I think it's a very huge topic, especially the name which we kept as both Ghazni as well as Tipu. I mean, we can go on and on. There is Melukote. There is also Coorg. What and even Kochi, Malabar. What Tipu did. So
A
it's a
lot.
huge topic. We can go on and on. And it's a recorded history that more than 800 Mandya Mayangas were massacred. Their entire family. Coorg, there are
Yes.
20,000 people who were killed and massacred, and still there are existing, people who are converted there. And Nayars, especially in Malabar, they were also more than. And he has
Yes.
very proudly told that I have done this. It's not like we are not telling out of the blue. His own writings, right? I mean, I'll just show you before we end. This is what he tells, right? He says 242 now sent as prisoners, and this is all his own writings. It's not something that we have done or something. So, ma'am, so this is a huge topic. We can go on and on. Probably we can have further of your research
Just
and
only
your
one thing
talk about
let
it.
me add.
Yes, ma'am.
Just one thing let me add.
Yes, ma'am.
Actually,
Yes, ma'am.
this one he came to an end. You know why his end came? Because he started getting French support. Only then this British people. Until then, they were just not so serious about. Handling him. And then once they came to know that French people have been brought, some 99% were brought for him. On coming to know, they immediately attacked him. So just imagine whatever he did was for the sake of safeguarding himself. The entire
Correct.
kingdom of if you say that he is a freedom fighter, then what about Mysore Raja, against whom he was fighting? He didn't want Mysore. So which side of the fence you are, on the side of Mysore people or the Mysore kingdom, or on the side of Tipu Sultan? His father was an usurper of the kingdom, and he wanted to retain that kingdom which is his father has usurped. And in what way you can call that he is a freedom fighter? He fought for himself, not for the people. If he had cared about the people, he would not have destroyed the Thondanur Bund without having any idea about, or any, maybe he wantedly did. He wanted people to die at that massive flood that had happened. He didn't have any concern for people. So it's not right to call him as a freedom fighter and to give him that status. I strongly object to that.
He's if he is called a freedom fighter, then Osama bin Laden was also a freedom fighter for me. That is, I can go to that extent because Tipu's. If you look at Tipu's history, when I started as and when, I mean, Thondanur was unknown to me, but when I look at all this thing, and I get staying in Bangalore and Karnataka, I feel kind of enraged when people talk about most benevolent. I mean, benevolent, and they wanted to bring Tipu's, what is that? Tipu festival or
Uh,
something, Tipu Day.
probably, I tell you why people say he had spared Srirangapatna temple. He has donated to Sringeri Mutt. But I tell you,
Mhm.
Lewis Rice, he was an archaeologist and epigraphist of that day, the British person. He need not have to take sides with Hindus. He has written in his archaeology book that Tipu had done these two because he was advised by Brahmin astrologers not to touch them. The people of the Brahmin astrologers of those temple have used to see the horoscope. He believed in astrology. They used to see check astrology for him, and since he followed them, because of them he spared those two places. This is written by Lewis Rice, who was an
And and
epigraphist
ma-
of British
and
period.
ma'am,
It is not
this is
written by any
specifically
Indian or
for
somebody, so that should have been correct. So whatever he had
yeah,
done was not for the sake of Hindus, for the sake of his own betterment. And
ma'am,
even
when his
the
health was
Sringeri grant was as a prashchitta parihara. That is for the
correct.
propagation, not for not out of benevolence.
And the same historian and thing when I was reading, he actually mentioned because of his failing health and because he was losing a lot of things, and there were a lot of people who was he has antagonized, like including the British, right? British Wadayars and everybody went against him. So you rightly mentioned, he actually went out seeking for everybody to help. When he went to the Brahmins and asked them for help, they told you do this, and that's why he started giving out of fear for his own health. It is nothing to do with he's having a lot of benevolence towards Hindus. Nothing. It is clearly written there. And yes, Ujjwalji, you had something, yeah.
That is the
Yeah,
reason
actually,
it is being mistaken by people. That is
yeah,
why it is being used by people to support Tipu. And I am saying that it is not so.
Yes, ma'am.
ac-
And
actually, actually, you should uh, pull out Lok Sabha speech by Tejas Surya on this historical character, Tipu, and what he did. It was a hard hitting, very hard hitting, and a very good speech. It's part of the Lok Sabha record. Anyone can Google it and see it. Actually, gives a lot of details,
he,
very summarized.
sir, he is part of that particular community who was affected. He is part of that community who stays around 100 kilometers from Bangalore. His family was from there. He is part of, so he knows the pain that has been passed on to the centuries. So Tejasvi Suryaji knows the history, and our people don't understand. They call him benevolent Tipu of what Tipu Jayanti, sword of Tipu Sultan, all that BS which is coming out, which is very. I get enraged when people talk to me on that. So thanks for giving that history. I think we need to expose that tyrant more. Is what
Yes.
I feel.
Yes.
So, thank you so much, ma'am. And just before you leave, ma'am, quick reminder to our viewers. Please, ma'am has actually, if you like, and the views which ma'am has put out, the data amount of the amount of detailed data ma'am has put out, please share it with your friends, your families, and she's written two books. I mean, seven books totally, two in English, which I know of, like Ramanuja Itihasa and Mahabharata, and exact time and date to which she has mentioned, and she has given two more books. The first, Homa, I think that you can talk about, ma'am. It's a very wonderful book which my son was very proud. He started making notes of it. actually saying. Yeah, please, you can tell about
Uh, that is for getting the books. You can write to jayasreebooks@gmail.com. People can write to
that.
that.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And she's yeah, so I can just share that in the comment column. So what
Okay.
you can do is people can please email her, and she definitely will start, she will, yeah, she will reach out to you. That is why how I got. And my son, ma'am, you mentioned about the entire history of that. He was really, I'm telling you, he started making notes, and I was asking him, what are you doing all this? It's a small book, you told, right? So I thought he will finish it off. He's saying, wait, wait, and he's made actually a template kind. He's making it because probably he'll be presenting it somewhere. I don't know. Because, and
Okay.
that's a wonderful, that's the information which I didn't know. Skanda is the first
Yes.
person who actually created the Homa. I didn't know. So, Ujjwal, I don't know whether you know it. Skanda, Kartikeya is the
Skanda.
first person, and
Mahabharata.
Madam Ji has given it all
Mahabharata.
the data.
Yes,
Huh.
Mahabharata contains a version given by Markandeya telling the Pandavas in Vanavas that Skanda was the one who had initiated the first Vedic Homa. We will do a session on that.
Yeah. So
I
these
have
are
it.
the things.
The Tamil version is free for free download. That English version
Mhm.
is there in Kindle. I will make that also free. So everybody
I
can
think
share.
Kindle version is what I saw, ma'am. That is what I was like very interested.
It's in
So
print form, printed.
just a
Everything is.
request to folks, please make use of our people. They are really spending their time, energy, and a lot of their effort is going on to get such kind of data. I don't think I can get it anywhere. I am in our time I didn't get it. Now I am seeing a lot of people are coming out. So thanks to Jayasree ji and a lot of other people whom we are coming across, and through you probably I'm also the preface whoever written, I'm trying to reach out to them also. So thanks for the books. I have got a lot of prefaces there, so I'm reading their books also. I'm trying to read their blogs. So for that, before we leave, Ujjwal ji, please.
One small suggestion and an invitation to Jayasree ji. One is that, ma'am, we need to have more sessions. Please
Yes.
spare some more time. Maybe we'll have two, three more sessions on different topics with you.
Sure, certainly. Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Secondly, the request was we can always very see ours is a Sanatani platform. Okay, and we handle such topics. We would like to project such topics. Our viewers also have the same, aptitude and affinity. So why don't we have some good, you know, maybe pictures of your books with titles so that we can create them into a screen. Arunji, maybe we
Yeah.
can show that screen on every session we have so that people can buy, maybe
Correct.
it will increase the traffic.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know,
definitely. Yeah, I'll be there to just my very uh, notion is that I have to share whatever knowledge I have as long as I have the energy with me. That's what I'm praying God.
That is a true sense of a Sanatani guru, what we say it as, that is what the Sanatani guru does. So, thanks for for all the information you have given. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your, for the data which you have given today. And definitely we'll keep in touch, ma'am.
Yes.
On behalf of Two Trailers and, Team Two Trailers and all the people who are watching, uh, thanks again. Jai Bharat, Jai Shri Ram. Har Har Mahadev to everybody.
Thank you very much. Thank you
Have
very
this
much for
beauty.
this.
Jai Ho, ma'am. Jai Ho. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
thank you.
Thank you.